Welcome to day 1 of our 7-day yoga series for strength and flexibility. Today's practice is a nourishing sequence to help us strengthen and stretch the hips as well as the full body. When you're ready, join me in a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. You might like to close the eyes. Lengthen the spinal column, open the heart space, relax your palms, and give yourself this opportunity to notice how you are feeling. Perhaps there are some physical sensations within the body. Maybe there's some internal dialogue. Simply being curious and giving yourself the space to show up as you are, no judgment. Begin to guide your awareness to the breath. Notice the body's natural breathing pattern, reminding yourself that there's no need to change the breath. Simply observing. And you might like to ask yourself whether it's possible to invite a suppleness into your experience. If you had your eyes closed, you might like to blink them open. And we'll start with some gentle shoulder mobility, beginning to circle your shoulders forwards and around, raising them towards the earlobes and lowering them down, finding some beautiful internal shoulder rotation. Noticing how the upper back is responding. And let's swap the direction, this time finding some external shoulder rotation as we open up the heart space. Take your time. Let's add on to this sequence. This time we are going to join our fingertips together, lightly placing them atop of the shoulders. We're going to join the elbows together. Scoop the elbows down and around, raising them skywards, and again joining the elbows together. This sequence will enable us to articulate the movement of the shoulder joints a little more. If this feels at all uncomfortable, know that you can always revert to the previous variation, or simply rest in a seated position. Really listen to your body and know what's right for you today. Recognizing that each day is different. Let's swap the direction. And this time scooping the arms behind and around. Opening the heart space, finding that external shoulder rotation. Let's go for one more round. Well done. Placing the palms on the knees, roll the shoulders back, lengthen the spine. Let's come into a seated cat and cow. Inhale, open the heart space, gaze up, stretch the throat. Exhale, curl and round, chin to chest, separate the shoulder blades, engage the abdominals. And again, inhale, spinal extension. Exhale, spinal flexion. Allowing the breath to guide you here. Reminding yourself that the transitions between postures are just as important as the postures themselves. So flow at a pace that enables you to maintain awareness If you'd like to get a little creative, you might begin to create some circular movements, some barrel-like shapes with the torso, the head and the neck. Really lean into what feels right, focusing on what this feels like rather than what it looks like. You might like to swap the direction of your movements. And slowing down the sequence, returning the torso upright. Inhale, raise the arms skywards. Exhale, twist to the left, tenting up onto the left fingertips behind you as you press the outer edge of your right palm into the left thigh. Lightly guiding your chin towards your chest so that you can lengthen the back of the neck. One more breath. Inhale, return to center. Relax the arms and let's swap the cross of the legs so that the opposite shin is in front. Gift yourself a moment to settle and let's take this seated stretch on the other side. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, twist to the right, finding your expression. Notice how this feels in the upper back. Perhaps you're feeling a stretch around the shoulder blades. And if you notice nothing at all, know that that's okay as well. And gently releasing from the posture, relaxing the shoulders, placing your palms in your lap and taking one mindful breath. Inhaling through the nostrils, exhaling, letting it all go. From here we'll come into a side bend, bending over to the left, lowering onto the left forearm as you reach the right arm skywards. Inhale, center. Exhale, bend to the right, lateral spinal flexion. Keeping the abdomen lightly engaged here. Noticing the stretch along the obliques, the side of your waist. Doing your best to keep your weight evenly distributed across both sits bones, across both legs. And this time let's scoop the chest and the arms forwards and around in a half circle. Coming into our stretch on the other side, maybe finding a heart opener, a bit of a back bend. Flowing through these half circles a few more times. And returning to center, beautiful work. Roll the shoulders back. And let's transition onto all fours facing the top of the mat. Joining the big toes together. Widening the knees slightly and sinking your hips back towards your heels. Stretching the arms out in front as you melt your heart towards the earth. Child's pose, Balasana. If this posture proves uncomfortable with the arms extended, know that you could always bend your elbows and rest your head atop of your palms. Know that this posture is always here for you. If ever you would like a moment of rest throughout the duration of this practice. On your next inhalation, press into the palms, rise up into a tabletop position. Taking a moment to check that the hips and the knees are aligned, as well as the wrists and the shoulders. Core is switched on, elongating the back of the neck. You have the option to stay here, or we're going to come into some warm-ups for the wrists and the forearms. Flipping the grip so that the fingertips are facing towards the knees, palms on the earth, the wrists facing forwards. Begin to shift your weight forwards and back, doing your best to keep the arms straight here. Let's again swap the grip. We'll again have the fingertips facing towards the knees, but the palms will be facing skywards. You might like to wiggle the fingers around a few times. And if it feels okay for you, shifting your weight forwards and backwards again, keeping those arms as straight as possible. This is a great exercise for any of our techno lovers who invest a large portion of their day on their phone or at their computer. Let's return to a traditional stance, fingertips facing forwards, palms on the earth. Notice the breath. Notice how the wrist and the arms are feeling. Press a little bit more firmly into the index fingers and the thumbs. And we're going to come into a traditional cat and cow. Inhale, scoop the chest forwards, arch the back, gaze up. Exhale, curl and round. Chin to chest, round the spine. And again. Inhale, cow pose, anterior pelvic tilt. Exhale, cat pose, posterior pelvic tilt. Taking one more round of cat and cow. Returning the spine to a neutral position, tucking the left toes under, gliding the left foot back, extending the leg. You might like to shift your weight forwards and backwards slightly, helping to stretch out the calf muscle, the Achilles. And when you're ready, aligning your right knee with your right hip, wrists with the shoulders. You can keep your foot on the earth, otherwise inhale, float the right leg up to hip height, point the toes, open the heart space, arch the back, raise the leg. Exhale, curl and round, knee to nose, engage the abdomen. Inhale, open, find your longest leg line. Exhale, curl and round, knee to nose, just like this. Flowing through tiger curl, flexions and extensions. If this feels like too much, know that you could always return to our traditional cat and cow. Final round. Returning to tabletop position, reconnecting with the breath. And let's go on the other side, tucking the right toes under, gliding the right leg back, shifting your weight forwards and backwards. Inhale, float the right leg up to hip height, point the toes, glue the abdomen to the spine. Inhale, raise the leg, arch the back, gaze up. Exhale, knee to nose, tiger curl. And again, inhale, find length. Exhale, curl and round 3 more times. Well done, returning to tabletop position. Noticing if there are any regions where you are holding on to tension, and seeing if you can let go. We'll again extend the left leg back. Inhale, raise the leg to hip height, keep the foot flexed, toes and kneecap are facing towards the earth. Option to stay here or raise your right arm forwards, palm facing towards the midline. Fingertips reaching in front of you as we come into bird dog, dandayamana, Bamanasana. evenly distributing your weight across your left palm, your left fingertips, and your right leg. If you'd like to join us in Tiger Pose via Grasana, flexing the left knee, guiding the left heel to the glutes as you use the support of your right arm to help you raise that leg, grabbing a hold of the medial edge of the ankle, opening the heart, feeling a beautiful back bend and a heart opener. One more breath. Exhale, release. Lower down to tabletop, and let's find a counter posture in cat pose, rounding the spine. Feeling a lovely expansion around the lower back as well as a stretch for the upper back. Return to tabletop and let's go on the other side. This time extending the right leg back. Inhale, raise the right leg, pushing into the heel of that foot, and maybe raising the left arm. If you'd like to join us in Tiger Pose, using your left palm to grab a hold of the inner seam of your right ankle, finding a point of focus, and if you'd like a challenge, maybe closing your eyes. Beautiful. Mindfully release, return to tabletop, and this time let's come into child's pose. Allow yourself to soften. Feel your connection to Mother Earth and breathe. Inhale, tabletop. Tuck the toes under. Walk the fingertips out in front a few centimeters, and let's raise the pelvis, extend the legs as we come up into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Gaze is between the feet. If you are presently living in a tight body, it might be helpful to keep the knees bent with the heels elevated. And if you have the mobility today, maybe guiding your heels towards the earth, straightening the legs, and engaging the quadriceps. Doing your best to soften the ribs, so notice if the thoracic cage begins to puff up. Ground down through the left foot. Inhale, raise the right leg, three-legged dog, Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend the knee as you guide your right heel towards your glutes, guiding the right kneecap skywards, doing your best to keep the shoulders squared. Now let's guide the right knee to the chest, placing the right foot down between the palms, low crescent moon, Anjaneyasana, tenting up onto the fingertips. The back foot, the left foot is pointed behind you, ensuring that your right knee is aligned with the right ankle and the hips are squared facing forwards. Option to keep your fingertips on the earth, or you can raise your arms skywards. Maybe keeping the arms shoulder width distance apart. Or if you'd like, you can join the palms together. Find what works for you. And notice the stretch along the left hip flexors, scissoring the muscles of the inner thighs together here so that we are protecting the pelvic ball. Exhale, palms on the earth. Let's raise the pelvis and extend the front leg as we come up into a variation of pyramid pose. The back heel is raised. If you have the mobility, melting your heart towards your front leg, otherwise you can rest on your fingertips with a flat back. This can be a really challenging one for anyone with tight hamstrings, so be gentle, take your time. Inhale, bend the right knee, raise the torso, high crescent moon. Trying to create a 90-degree angle with your front knee and the earth. Stacking your shoulders over your hips, reaching the fingertips skywards, and creating space between the earlobes and the shoulders. Exhale, pivot the torso to the right, separate the arms at shoulder height, spreading the fingertips wide, and maybe gazing towards your backhand as we come into a revolved crescent moon. Feel the strength of your legs. Inhale, return to center, raise the arms, gaze up. Exhale, palms on the earth on either side of your front foot. Step back into plank pose, aligning the shoulders over the knees, engaging the quadriceps, the abdomen. On your next inhalation, mindfully lowering the knees to the earth. Exhale, lower the chest to the earth, elbows point behind you. Arms graze the torso, hips coming down last. Point the toes, press into the palms. Inhale, cobra, open the heart space, lift up. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, down dog, raise the pelvis, straighten the legs. Breathe. On your next inhalation, ground down through the right foot. Raise the left leg skywards, three-legged dog. Open up the hip. Bend the knee and guide your left heel to the glutes. Re-extend the leg. Shift your weight forwards, knee to chest, and gently place your left foot down between your palms. Lower your right knee down, point the toes, open up the heart space, low crescent moon. You might like to raise your arms skywards, smile, soften the facial features. On your next exhalation, returning the palms to the earth, raising the back leg, straightening the front leg, pyramid pose, finding your expression. Re-bend the front knee, and this time raise the torso, raise the arms, high crescent moon. The back leg is extended, engaging the legs. Can you sink those hips a little lower? Feel the strength of your glutes, of your quads and your hamstrings. Feel the stability of your ankles, the arches of your feet. Exhale, pivot to the left, revolved crescent moon. Return your gaze forwards. Inhale, raise both arms, stretch the torso, stretch the arms. Exhale, frame the front foot, step the left leg back, plank pose. One breath here. Notice where you are holding tension and guide the breath there. Inhale, knees to the earth. Exhale, 8-limb staff pose, Ashtanga Namaskar. Press into the palms. Inhale, Cobra, Bhujangasana. Core is engaged here. Relax the glutes to help you protect the lower back. Pause here for a breath. Beautiful. This time let's transition into child's pose, sending the hips back. Breathe. Inhale. Let's come up into down dog. Really stretching out the posterior chain here. Remind yourself of your inner strength. Remind yourself of your infinite capabilities. Inhale, float the right leg up, three-legged dog. Begin to shift the weight forwards, this time guiding your right foot to the outer edge of your right palm, coming into lizard posture. This is another beautiful hip opener. You might like to shift your weight forwards and backwards slightly. For a more passive variation, lowering your back knee down onto the earth, but if you'd like to keep it active, keeping the leg elevated, engaging the quads, maybe lowering down onto your forearms. And if it's in your practice, you could open up your right knee out to the side, rolling onto the blade edge of your right foot as you come into an external hip rotation. We want to ensure that the right knee is tracking in line with the right toes, whether that means facing forwards or out to the side. Just check that they're in alignment. If you're on your forearms, re-extending the arms, we're going to pivot on our back foot, ground down through the right palm. This time right palm is on the inner seam of the right foot. Extend the left arm skywards as we come into extended side angle, using the right shoulder to press into the right knee, creating a beautiful diagonal line between the right fingertips, the shoulder, the hip, and the right foot. Engaging the pelvic floor here, feeling the strength of your inner thighs, your outer hips. Breathe. Notice the expansion around the outer ribs. If you'd like to take this a little further, coming into an arm bind, guiding your right arm underneath your right leg, left arm behind your back, and maybe interlacing your fingers together or grabbing a hold of one wrist. Notice if you begin to close off around the chest, really try to keep the collarbones broad. Well done. Return the right palm to the earth, raise the left arm skywards, extend the right leg as we come into triangle pose. You have the option to rest your fingertips on the earth, maybe place your right palm on your shin, your ankle. Whatever helps you find length. We want to lengthen both sides of the waist here. Rebend the right knee, frame the front foot, and step back into plank pose. Taking one mindful breath in plank pose. Lower the knees down. Exhale, 8-limb staff pose. Inhale, cobra. Gaze up. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Well done. Let's take this flow on the other side. Inhale, raise the left leg, three-legged dog. Shift your weight forwards, mindfully bend your knee as you guide your left foot to the outer edge of your left palm, finding your expression of lizard posture, Uttan Pradesthasana. If you're on your forearms, re-straightening the arms, pivoting on your right foot, raising the right arm skywards as you come into extended side angle. This time the left shoulder is pressing into the left knee. Notice if your hips begin to raise, see if you can lower them down. Maintain that 90-degree angle with the left knee and the earth. Option to stay here with your left palm on the earth, or if you'd like, you can come into an arm bind. If possible, trying the same variation that you did on the other side so that we can really foster a state of harmony within the body and within the mind. If you're in the bind, returning the left palm to the earth, raising the right arm skywards, extending the left leg, triangle pose. Gently rebend the left knee, frame the front foot, plank pose. Check in with your core strength. Is it possible to unclench the jaw? Inhale, lower the knees down. Exhale, Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog. Well done. Inhale, raise the right leg, three-legged dog, stretch your top leg. And from here, guide your right knee to the right wrist, right ankle to the left wrist as we set up for pigeon pose, Kapotasana. The left leg is facing behind you. You have the option to point the toes or keep the foot tucked. You have the option to stay upright, or if you'd like a deeper stretch for the outer hips and the glutes, you might like to lower down onto your forearms, perhaps resting your forehead on the earth. Allow yourself to be present with the sensations. Use this as an invitation to practice non-judgment, to practice acceptance, recognizing that you are exactly where you need to be. You have the option to rest here in pigeon pose, or we're going to try mermaid posture. For this variation, guiding your right heel slightly closer to your left hip. We're going to bend the left knee, and with the support of your palm, guide your heel close to the torso. You can place your foot in the crevice of your arm, and maybe raise your right arm skywards. You could also interlace your fingers together, being sure to turn on the lower abdomen here. This is a really deep back bend. Feel the release around the heart space. Smile up to the universe. If you're in an arm bind, gently returning the palms to the earth and mindfully re-extending the leg behind you. We'll meet in down dog, stretch it out. It might feel nice to bend one knee at a time to help mobilize the outer hips. Find what feels good and breathe. Let's go on the other side. Inhale, raise the left leg skywards, three-legged dog. And let's prepare for pigeon pose, this time with the left leg in front. If you would like a gentler variation of this posture, guide your left heel towards your right hip bone. And if you'd like a more intense stretch for the outer hips, keep your left shin parallel to the front of the mat, so the left heel will be aligned with the left knee. Allow your body to tell you what's right for you, recognizing that there's no need to strive for results. Simply allow yourself to feel your way into this moment. Settle in and surrender. Option to stay in pigeon pose, or you might like to join us in mermaid posture, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, also known as one-legged pigeon pose. So this time we will be using the support of our right arm to grab a hold of the right leg and maybe interlace your fingers together behind the head, or open the heart space. Breathe. Wherever you are in the posture, Gently releasing, and we'll come up into our final downward facing dog for today. Use this opportunity to stretch the body, to stretch the mind. On your next inhalation, lovingly guiding the knees to the earth, point the toes, child's pose. I invite you to pause the video here and rest in child's pose for as long as you like. And in your own time, gently elevating the torso, coming up into a comfortable seated position of your choice. Lengthening the spinal column, closing the eyes, relaxing the shoulders, and placing one palm on the belly and the other on the heart space. Thank yourself for cultivating the space to nourish your well-being. Thank yourself for honoring the time to return inwards, to notice the breath, and to celebrate this incredible mind and body that we've been gifted. If you'd like to join me in reciting 3 affirmations, I invite you to do so. Otherwise, you might simply choose to appreciate the meaning behind these words. I love myself unconditionally. I accept myself completely. I am exactly where I need to be. Together, let us take one mindful breath to round off practice. Inhaling through the nostrils. Exhaling, sighing it all out. When you are ready, joining the palms together at heart center. Thank you so much for today. May you experience true peace and joy, sending you love and light. Namaste.